Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your November 2021 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bulls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Cancer. How will Cancer be affected by the November 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. Let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Emperor here, Aries energy, and we have the Hangman. So we're embracing our power and starting to see things very differently because of this moon. Also, if we have Aries energy within our chart or within our lives, it's coming through very powerfully at our root. In our inner self, we have the Four of Pentacles and we have the Eight of Wands. So there's some vampiric energy that's holding us back, mostly around money or the embracing of prosperity, and then things start to move very quickly. We have the King of Pentacles, into wealth, which is a very good thing. The King of Pentacles is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This full moon is in Taurus, so that energy is coming through very powerfully at our heart and emotionally connecting with us. The Sun is in Scorpio, so our hearts are definitely being ruled by this full moon. We might feel much more emotional than we usually do, but we're also going to be very aware of the spiritual world and the physical world. Those two points of ourselves are going to come out very, very, very powerfully during this time. And this is just absolutely tremendous. We then have the 10 of Cups, and they all live happily ever after. And the 9 of Swords, which is, worries, doubts, fears, nightmares, a sense of, is this too good to be true? Can I move forward the way that I want to? Am I going to be able to embrace what I want to embrace and what I want to have from my life? So that's going to be something that's very interesting. So let's see the energy that we have to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. We have the King of Pentacles. So we have to be mindful of prosperity absolutely taking over. Also being very influenced by people who say, well, this is the way you're supposed to do it. And it's like, okay, yes, that could have worked for them. but it doesn't mean that it's going to work for us. We have to embrace and understand that we are all individuals, and individually embracing our prosperity, embracing the way that we move forward, embracing our path, and knowing that yes, certain things might be true for certain people, but there's no reason for me to freak out over not following somebody else's narrative. And that could be also just in the way our earth sees things. What if we're not in a relationship and we're this many years old, and we think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be in one. If we want to be in a relationship, or I haven't earned as much money as I want to earn and I'm this many years old, or whatever it is that we freak ourselves out over age. It's stepping back and saying, my story doesn't get to be everybody else's story, and there is prosperity and there is beauty and there is power to me that I get to walk forward in. And that becomes the game changer here, coming to things with a higher energy vibration, which is going to be so beneficial and so almost shock-wavingly felt during this time. Actually, it is going to be shock-wavingly felt. It's like the earthquake, just changing the way that we stand on this earth, changing the power to us. It's going to be in a very good way. Our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Here we have universal light, and this is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown. This is the light that shines from us. This is a sense of there is beauty and there is connection and there is brilliance. We just have to let it shine. We just have to let it be. So let's talk about the astrological aspect of this time. On the 19th of November, we have the lunar full moon eclipse in Taurus. And everything is more intense when there is a lunar eclipse. So everything's just kind of like, pumped up to 10 during this time. As in all full moons, the sun is opposite the moon, which brings with it all these relationship issues, all our relationships, they all come into focus. And as everything comes into focus, we start paying really sharp attention to the opposites of things, what we are aware of, how we are moving things forward, the way that we are being pulled in this direction or in that direction. And the opposites within our lives can be work and home, it can be wants and needs, it can be the wants of everybody else and our wants, the needs of everybody else and our needs. And so that all starts to come into very sharp focus during these times. We are also a lot more emotionally aware and more spiritually and personally plugged in to what we want and need within our lives and within ourselves. A lunar eclipse also represents the resetting of our emotions and a clearing away of a lot of the baggage that we're carrying and that we've been carrying over the last 6 months, which is absolutely needed for everybody because the world has been a little bit tinged with gray, even if things haven't been very bad for us, or even especially if they have. We're going to find that we are starting to release a lot of the fears that we hold and a lot of the chaos that is around us. The full moon is in Taurus, which is the second sign in the zodiac, which means that it is naturally linked to the second house, which represents the mental world, the material world, not the mental world, the material world. It represents material things, material life, food, our bodies, our well-being. We are being told to pay attention to the quality of things, not the quantity of things. Now, the sun is in Scorpio. All of this is felt so tremendously within our hearts. The second house, the moon in Taurus, the full moon in Taurus, and now the sun in Scorpio, which is the 8th sign in the zodiac. And this means that it is naturally linked with the eighth house, which is the house of regeneration and death, which, can kind of freak everybody out. Whenever the death card comes up, people get a little bit nervous, but it's all about the death and the rebirth. A door to another world is being opened, and we're seeing that we're not necessarily seeing this world in the exact same way that we had seen it before. Now, these two things need to be balanced within us because the second house and Taurus have us focusing on the material world. The 8th house and Scorpio have us connecting with the spiritual world and the esoteric side of life. With Taurus and the second house, there is also a link to Mother Earth, as well as our earnings and being able to provide for ourselves, being able to stand on our own 2 feet, which can be something that is going to be very much a focus during this time, to be able to have the power to be able to move forward and release this vampiric energy, which is making us unsure of the way to advance to success. It's making us feel as if, everywhere I stand, there's quicksand. And what Spirit is saying here is that that's not necessarily going to be the case for much longer. Scorpio in the 8th house are linked with the banks and how we are able to save and take care of everything, how we are able to provide. It doesn't necessarily have to be the banks, but it's going to be the way that we are able to move forward with ease and connections. Now, the moon is going to be conjunct Jupiter, which brings hopefulness and enthusiasm into our lives. It is also amplifying our emotions and our emotional responses to things. So we have to be very mindful of our hearts and our reactions. We can be very reactionary during this time and very emotional. We also have a tendency towards moodiness, irritability, and carelessness. So we just have to be aware of that, because those aren't necessarily the best things in the world. They're not the worst, but we just have to be aware of how much things are affecting us. And with our hearts firmly implanted in the solar and lunar aspects of this time, we're going to find that our emotions run high. We are being told that by adopting an attitude of gratitude and an attitude of spirituality, not materialism, we are going to see our world transform. We are also really ready for things to transform. Jupiter also urges us to expand our horizons, but to be mindful of greed taking over, because there is going to be an aspect here where greed can come out and just take over everything. But we'll get to that in a little bit. The moon is trine Pluto. Now, this brings spirituality and emotional sensitivity, as well as enhancing and bringing to the forefront our psychic development, into the forefront of our minds and ourselves. Now, what we're also going to see here is that Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. But what's also true, and which I absolutely failed to mention earlier, is that Cancer, we are ruled by the moon, which is absolutely why our hearts are ruled by this astrological configuration of the moon and the sun. This is why we can be very moon sensitive and just feel things so intensely when it comes to the moon. So not only are things going to be more intense because of the lunar eclipse, but they're also going to be more intense because we feel the moon so profoundly. We will feel things powerfully because of the moon trine Pluto, which makes us more emotional. There's a subconscious urge for the evolution of ourselves on a spiritual level and an empowerment of our energy. And this is helped along by Jupiter, which helps us to achieve our goals and also starts to align us with our karmic destiny. The eclipse aspect pattern during this time is the alignment of the sun, the moon, Jupiter, and Pluto, which creates a quadrilateral. I know I can't say that word very well, but that's my best try at it, known as the animated figure. Now, the animated figure, as its name suggests, brings animation into our lives, puts things into motions. It isn't necessarily going to happen easily, and it's not necessarily going to happen all at once. But from the animated figure, it's going to start to bring things to the surface, physically and mentally, that we need to see. And we're also going to start to tap into our imaginations and our perseverance, a sense of, I'm getting the job done, I'm moving forward, I'm tenacious, and I am focused. Now, just be mindful, because we'll have all of this going on, and we're going to have a tendency to be an all or nothing type of person during this time, more so than other signs. But again, remember, this is astrologically, so everybody's feeling this. We're going to tend to be all or nothing. It has to be all in or nothing at all. And Spirit is saying here, be very mindful of this, because we can be rather moody when things don't go our way, and we can be rather quick to react when things don't line up exactly the way that we want to. Now, the fixed star Algol is representative of, well, is in the configuration of Medusa and represents the head in the constellation of Medusa, who was killed by Perseus. So what this tells us, and what Algol means in astrology, it holds a very big reputation as the most evil star in the heavens. So this can be a time where when things go wrong, they go really wrong. And we're just sitting there looking at it like, are you kidding me? It brings extremes, it brings violence, it brings misfortune. This is why we have to be very mindful to keep our energy vibration high. This is why we have to be very mindful not to fall into the grayness of the world, the sense of that doom and gloom that can almost feel, present or ever present in our lives recently. So what we're going to see here is that by keeping a high energy vibration, we start to move ourselves towards success, because if we keep a base energy vibration. If we fall into the trap of this fixed star algol, we're going to find that we can be greedy. This is where greed comes in, which will lead us to regret. But we're also going to find that we can easily lose our heads. We can easily lose our heads over things, like just become so enraged by things or so caught up in everything that we act in a way that if we were actually thinking it through, we wouldn't have acted in that way. So just be really mindful of that. And because we are so affected by the moon, this is going to be a time where we just have to be really aware of everything that's being thrown at us. We have at our root here, the Emperor, we have this urge for success. We have this being of alignment and tenacity and stability and security, and this sense of I am walking forward in my power, in my understanding of myself, in the place that I need to be for me, bar none. And this is going to be a time where we're really holding on to who we are. We're really looking at what we want. We're really finding our voice and embracing our voice and also what we desire. Now, it's very interesting here because in ancient times, before the finding of Pluto, but since Pluto has been kicked off, it can be once again that Scorpio was ruled by Mars. And so Mars comes in, and we have the aspect of Pluto coming into play, and we have the aspect of Mars. Now, Pluto was the god of the underworld, right? And Mars is the god of war. And yet all the people who fight for Mars end up in the realm of Pluto, just all the people who live anyway. So here we're going to have this sense of feeding off ourselves and almost a sense of enough is enough. Like I do not need anything new from fighting and from, this fierceness to come forward in my life. So by keeping things very calm and keeping things very centered, we're going to find that we best serve ourselves. It moves us to the Hangman. We don't see things the same way as everybody else. This is going to be a time where we have a very unique insight into what we want, into our way forward, into what we desire for ourselves. And there's going to just be this sense of, am I right or am I wrong? Like, am I moving forward the right way, or isn't this where I want to be? And the Hangman is putting us into focus with a lot of the vampiric energy that has been draining us for a really long time. It can almost dramatically be said that we are breaking a curse. We are moving away from a lot of the things that have held us back, that has kept us silent, a lot of the energy in our lives that have made us think that we can't. And now what we're going to see here is that we absolutely can. There's also going to have to be an acknowledgement of this, a sense of I'm not ruled by that person who didn't know their voice. I'm not ruled by that person who was apprehensive or fearful or overwhelmed by the world. I'm moving forward. And this realization comes to us. It comes rather quickly and rather intensely. And it can take our breath away because it's like ready or not, here it comes. Ready or not, here's the change. And it's around our passion. It's around our careers. It's around the way that we're moving forward in our lives, our sense of connection with ourselves, our sense of where we're going and what we're headed towards and where it is that we want to be. And it brings us to the King of Pentacles. It brings us to this place of, again, claiming that throne, claiming what we desire, knowing what we have planted in ourselves, knowing what we want kind of more long term than what merely we have to do to survive day to day. And what we're going to be seeing here is that our hearts are fierce, but our hearts are also driven by this success, by this insight, by these desires, and we're seeing things so much more clearly, so much more passionately, so much more honestly than we have seen them before. And as we claim our throne, we're also embracing our knowledge. We're embracing our wisdom. We're looking at things and saying, I've lived through so much. I've experienced so much. And it has made me wiser. It has made me stronger. It has made me better. Even if at this moment in our lives, we don't think that it has. And what we're going to also find is that now we're moving forward in a claiming of success, in a physical claiming, the head held high, the shoulders back, the sense of I'm embracing what I'm here for, what I'm on this earth for. This is why we're going to see our karmic destiny really coming into play, an alignment with ourselves. And then we have the death card, the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. And this could also be a morning as we're starting to embrace our success. We can have those times where we absolutely fall back on the vampiric energy, on the sense of I can't move forward. I can't do this because I failed in the past, because I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve at the year I was supposed to achieve it, within my own mind. And Spirit's saying, it's not in your time, it's in mine. So trust me as we move forward. Keep on Keep on embracing your talents, keep on being who it is that you are, but see things differently and embrace the fact that maybe you weren't meant to fit in with the herd. Maybe you weren't meant to go in the same exact direction as everybody else. And so with the death card, we find that we are walking with the spirit world. We're going to find that it's leading us forward and it's seeing things. White dogs with red ears in Celtic mythology were the spirit, were the dogs of the fairy world. And so here we have the dogs, the man's best friend, leading us forward in a way that we can't see and we can't understand. Because remember, their sense of smell and their sense of hearing are so much better than ours. I think their dogs are born smelling, and then the next sense, or they smell the first sense to open up is scent, and then it's the ears, and then it's the eyes. So it's very different from us, and we're going to be led forward in a very different way. It's almost like follow your nose, follow your instincts, follow the scent of that trail, and let it lead you forward. Let it be a part of you as you embrace your tenacity and what we desire during this time. And what Spirit is saying here is focus on the you, not on what everybody else needs, because Cancer, we can have a tendency to do that. We have a tendency to be what everybody else desires and yet forget about ourselves, forget about our path forward and what it is we want and what it is that we need within our lives and how it is that we want to move forward in what we desire. And this leads us then to the 10 of Cups, our happily ever after, our sense of perfection, our sense of love and joy and prosperity and abundance. And this joyfulness comes from the fact that we're being guided towards something bigger. We're releasing so much that was like a ball and chain around our neck. And this is celebration. But what's so interesting is that as we celebrate, as we recognize our happiness, we then have the doubt and fear come in again. And it's like, oh no, but I can't. But don't you have to worry about this? And don't you have to worry about that? And shouldn't I try to control this? And shouldn't I try to control that? And Spirit's saying here, but you can't. But you won't have the answers to everything. The absolutes that we have in this world are very few and far between. And if we fear about everything we do not know and cannot protect ourselves from and cannot prepare for, we would never leave our doors. And so what Spirit is saying here is to embrace our joy, to embrace our happiness and our success, and look at what happiness means for us. Not following everybody else, but what does happiness mean for us? How does it ignite us? How does it unite us? How does it move us forward in a sense of a joy for being alive? Our happiness, our dreams, we tend to write them off in broad strokes. We tend to say, oh, I want to be happy. But my happiness and your happiness may be two very different things. And we have to respect that and accept that and walk forward in the joy that makes us and not in the joy that makes somebody else. And we can be terribly afraid that if we let our hearts show and if we let ourselves shine, people might not understand. They might mock. And what Spirit is saying here is that it is time to move forward in the essence of ourselves. As long as we come from a place of love and kindness and respect and dignity, those are the places, those are the roots that we want to build off of. Now let's look at what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So at our root, we have here, you and your loved ones are safe. Gratitude. And we can find it a little bit hard during this time because this card for gratitude was upside down. We can find it a bit difficult to really embrace the gratitude as we're seeing everything so differently. We can find it actually overwhelming and a little bit scary. But to know that we are safe, to know that we are secure, to know that we are moving forward in our power in a sense of uniting and understanding ourselves and what we need and desire from our lives, that's going to be a really great thing for us. And embracing the gratitude of our hearts and our souls and our very being is going to be Well, it's going to be life-changing because this is a time to move forward in gratitude. And gratitude changes so much for us. It moves us into a higher energy vibration. It moves us to our inner selves, which says here, bring love into the situation, blossoming. Because if we bring love, and as we bring love into the situation, we are blossoming into the person we need to be. We are blossoming into the passion of our souls and what we desire. We are blossoming into so much more than what we expected. So much more than the vampiric energy that was around us was keeping us in. It was keeping us small. It was keeping us quiet. It was keeping us scared and silent. And that's going to be something that we're really rebelling against. Then we have, in our emotional self, we have luck is on your side, fruition. And that's also going to be something that we have a bit of a problem with, because this is reversed before, that as luck is on our side, we bring to fruition what we want. But there's going to be just this sense of doubt and of fear and of, I can't move forward the way that I need to, the way that I want to, the way that is a part of my soul and myself. And it brings us then to our subconscious, not subconscious, but our lunar public arena self. And it says adjustments are required, peace. Adjustments are required as we are achieving our dreams and our goals. Be at peace. Over all the nightmares, over all the worry, over all the doubts, over all the fears, be at peace. Because beauty is stepping into us. Beauty is becoming a part of us. And peace needs to guide us. Our subconscious lunar message for this time is show the world the real you. This is Aquarius energy coming through again. This is the full moon in Aquarius. Below it is the new moon in Aquarius. So we're also going to be very pulled by Aquarius energy during this time, lunarly. We then have boundaries. Show the world the real you, but respect your boundaries. Respect what you will do and what you won't do, and what can be done and what can't be done. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And that's the Princess of Pentacles. Again, it has to do around money. It can be around greed. It's going to be around people who have these kind of get-rich-quick schemes or these ideas. And you're going to think, oh, okay, well, let's just do that. Let's just charge forward. But they're not going to be thought through. So do be mindful with this. It then moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is the solar plexus chakra. And this is self-mastery. This is aligning what we desire within our lives. This is aligning our energy, our focus, our insight, our ideas. And all of a sudden, we start to master the world around us. We start to master ourselves, which has us mastering the world around us. It leads us to our subconscious rooted energy, which is the tower change. It's change that we can't control. It's change that pushes us out of our comfort zone. Does it have to be bad change? No. But tower times rock our world. And subconsciously, this moon is rocking our world. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, which is the Ace of Wands. Passion and creativity, God, source, spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing us a gift that sets us apart. Handing us a gift that propels us forward in a way that we weren't expecting. It moves us then to our subconscious emotional self, which is the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is a blessing coming in. A Four of Cups is something beautiful coming that we hadn't seen before and that we weren't preparing for. It can feel overwhelming at the time. It can also feel not like a gift at all, but it is going to be something beautiful for us. It moves us then to our subconscious public arena self, and that is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is slowly and steadily moving forward in our prosperity, in our abundance. We're not building quickly here. We're not building it all at once, but we're going to find that what we are building has a firm and beautiful foundation. But be patient. Definitely be patient. All right, Cancer. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the prosperity of this full moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Cancer, and may you have a blessed moon.